tonight as we talk about therapists as travel professionals. And I am not an expert at any means in any of this, but that's why Karen's here to fill us in. I'm just excited about all the different opportunities there are out there, because this is something I've actually thought about doing for years, but didn't really know how or what or how I would even think about doing it. So, and then I met Karen and got me even more excited about this. So before we get started, and before Karen starts, can you guys just in the chat section tell us what options you guys would like to explore in the world of incorporating being a therapist or a health professional as a travel professional? What kind of things would you guys like to do? We're just kind of interested to see what you guys are all thinking. And when you guys are sharing, if you could click the button so that it says to everyone, that would be awesome, because then everyone else can see what you guys are thinking. So
aquatic therapy, that's cool. Helping seniors travel. Yep. Oh, here they come. Here they come.
Yep, lots. Organize and assist seniors with travel to and from winter, summer homes, personal travel, which is awesome. So I was talking to one of our partners, companies that we work with a lot here, and she told me they get calls all the time for senior travel companions. Of course, everyone wants to get out of here in the winter, right?
Absolutely.
Mental health clients on mission trips and travel journeys. That's awesome. Own my own business and travel with seniors, cruising for seniors.
Yes.
With people to swim, so they can go to, I don't know how you say that, Galapagos. I don't know how you say that.
Galapagos Islands. That's on my list for sure.
Awesome.
My list keeps getting longer with joining this. It's really just the opposite of the massive fields that I would go into if I didn't do this. So
combine with travel way to break into it for new grads. Would love to help book accessible vacations, host caregiver relief trips. Ooh, I like that, caregiver relief trips. That's awesome.
Yeah, down. I know I can save this, but
help individuals or help families help their loved ones to travel when they think they can't do it anymore. Yes, I was just having a discussion with one of my clients about that. Planning accessible travel escort. I just think it sounds interesting and how it could be incorporated in my practice. Travel companion, assist seniors for cruise travel, consultant to travel agencies, so they're actually ADA compliant and aware what that means. And Karen, you'll have to talk about that beaches resort or that presentation you were talking about. Anna OT from Australia. Hello. How to differentiate between therapists and lesser qualified travel companions. Traveling assistant. Sorry, I'm just really interested in your guys' idea. Hand therapy incorporating travel somehow. Senior traveling, moving organization, assisting vacation homeowners with actual functional requirements for disabilities. Local travel jobs. Oh, lots of great ones. We need to take this list and put it into a document.
yeah, I'm going to save this chat for real.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. We're done. Just teasing. Okay, so you guys have come up with lots of great options. I'm going to be quiet and sit back and let Karen take over so you guys can learn all about her and what she about her journey. Karen, go ahead.
All right. Well, hey, everybody. I know I recognize some names from just being around in the therapy world for 20 plus years now, and being in a lot of these groups and just seeking out something a little bit better, different, something that feels more aligning. So for me personally, I have become I have been an OT for going on 21 years. I just entered my 21st year of practice. And I started out as a traveler, which was kind of unusual at that time. In 2003, I started out doing travel after I had a year of experience, because I did that for a couple of reasons. When I first heard about traveling therapy, I was like, oh, this is great. I can see the country. I can live in cool places, and this will be great. And you make good money, right? A lot of us have done travel on some level. But they don't really advertise the other parts that come with that. You're still, I've taken over 30 contracts probably in my tenure. I was trying to add it up the other day, of 3-month contracts. And so I first went to Rhode Island and working in a skilled nursing facility there from Colorado. And I had never lived outside the state. I never really done that other than a 3-month internship that I did in Hawaii. I knew that was probably as close as, a level 2 in Hawaii. That was probably as close as I would get to travel abroad with OT at the time. So I went to Rhode Island, and I started traveling that early because I felt an immediate misalignment with the traditional healthcare system. I was happy to be working with my clients, and I've loved my tenure as an OT, but something has always been off between how they do things and how I do things. And so travel became a way that I could still do what I had gone to all those years of school, and what I really felt in my soul was, what I was supposed to do with my life. I think therapy is one of the greatest avenues around for careers and for what we're trained in and what we do. However, that was a pretty awful contract. They were, any of us who have worked in SNF previously, we've known how bad the overbilling, and it just continued to increase from about 2003 to 2014. That was where I started doing travel. And then 2014 was really the last time I actually was asked to leave because I was asking too many questions at a SNF in Hawaii that I was working for a large therapy company. And so, but I had been, I had taken travel contracts all over by then. I had taken them in California, in Louisiana. I went back to Colorado for a while. I was in Hawaii a few different times, and then I was there permanently for several years. So this travel has always been kind of in my in my blood, to like figure out a way that I can travel, see the world, all that kind of stuff. I actually took some time off. I don't know if anyone's ever done sabbaticals before when they were just feeling overly burned out, but I did do travel for a while, and then I was able to save up a little bit of money to go. I went and lived and worked in hostels and backpackers, and I did some house sitting in New Zealand for a few months. So I've always had this wandering spirit. I've always tried to incorporate the travel into the therapy into that. But, there's something was always missing for me in that sort of that rat race hamster wheel, even though it was only 13 weeks at a time. If you've ever done a travel assignment, you know that there is a reason. There's always a reason, and you're still in that, or a reason that they have that they need the traveler. And this, we know why the need is now, with so many people exiting out of traditional healthcare this day and age. So I went back to Hawaii after I was in New Zealand for a while. I did some more travel contracts, and I was like, I really just want to go live in another country. Like, I'm going to go figure out Australia or something. Like, they speak English and they have OT, and that's the closest to me from where I am. And I had, I was taking a trip there, and I have family there and all this kind of stuff. And so I just really had put this strong vibe that I was meant to go live in another country. And then all of a sudden, like literally this dropped into my phone one day. I got a text message that said, hey, would you be interested in working in a TBI clinic with soldiers and veterans who have in a military base? And oh, by the way, that have mild TBI. And oh, by the way, it's in Italy. And I was like, yeah, I think I want to do that. So I was just, even though I've never been top of my class or like the best, researcher, evidence-based, like I'm a pretty good OT, but I've always just been a clinical traveler, like just straight doing the work, living the life outside of that. And I was like, this is probably really competitive, but I just put my mind to it and I got chosen, and I spent 2.5 years there. And that coincided with in my life, I've had a lot of personal trauma in various different ways. And that was at a point where I was needing to figure out a way to heal and deal with some different things, and solo travel through Europe on my weekends and holidays and anytime I could, really. And then Italy in between times, on just regular weekends. I'm like, oh, just regular weekends, I just go to other parts of Italy, and so I had it was a stressful job, and there was still the same same like limitations, but that was where I really, like, travel really anchored in for me as a way that I was like, at that point, I'm like, I got to figure out how I can combine what I know to do with travel and with or with therapy and with travel, because this has been my life, a lifetime of doing amazing things with helping to heal myself. And I truly believe that there's not a problem or a trouble that a trouble that travel can't solve, and that meeting other people and experiencing other cultures and going on adventures by yourself, with others, meeting new people, and all that kind of thing. So that really kind of anchored in for me. I ended up, because of health problems, I ended up coming back to the States at the end of 2018. And I was working for the VA for a short period of time in California, but really kind of, and I went back and I got my doctorate in the meantime. I got my post-professional OTD because I really wanted to, be in a way that I could work with the military and the VA, and that would allow me to live overseas. But then COVID happened, everything changed. And I won't go into details about that tonight, but I ended up moving back home here to Grand Junction, Colorado, and moved in with my dad. And then which we'll get into a little bit more later, but that's when this travel professional, home-based, home-based travel agent found me, and I started this last May. And then I just kind of started a general thing, thinking I wanted to leave. Like I graduated with my doctorate in December of 2021, and really in January of 2022, I was like, I have to do something different. This is no longer a path for me. So anyways, that's kind of the short and long of me and how I came to this table. I can remember in college that I wanted to be I did a project that was an accessible travel agency, and I've looked into what would it take, like what Kara said is what I hear so often is, and that was true for me too, is that I wanted to be a travel agent or work in the travel industry somehow. And when this opportunity came along, it was just such a better way than paying thousands of dollars for a franchise and then several hundred a month and all that kind of stuff. And plus you can build a team, which we're going to get into later, which I totally did not plan to, have other therapists. That wasn't my goal, is to, build a team of therapists or necessarily even connect those worlds. But those were the people who started showing real interest, because I think we just have that, we like to create freedom and adventure and independence in other people and ourselves. And we're a pretty adventurous group that likes to travel in general. So that's why I'm here today, is because I started connecting with people like Kara and Mike, and, just really had, it's just been an explosion here lately, with going on the mission trip that I went on last month in Belize, which we can talk about that, and how I've just always thought about in this last 9 months since I've been doing this, new and different ways to connect the two. And then it turns out that there's a ton of interest. So that's me. And so I saw we had a couple of questions. Kara, did you want to?
Share the information if they're interested in that one program that you got. So I'm guessing, Becky, is that when she was able to go over to Italy?
Oh.
Yep,
Yes.
that's what it
Okay.
is.
So yes, I ended up what it was is there was I'm not even sure it's in existence anymore, but there are opportunities if you want to get a job with the, if you go on to USA Jobs, you can search OT or PT. There's several of both, although it's not a crazy amount. Like if you want to work for the federal government and go overseas and be a civilian employee, it's what is part of was actually it was a mild traumatic brain injury unit, and I was working as a contractor, which is kind of the best of both worlds, because I was kind of part of the whole military thing, and then I was also part of, like I was also a contractor, so I wasn't necessarily, it was kind of like a travel contract overseas. The company, I don't think it actually exists anymore. They all buy each other out every 5 years, but it was like I knew someone. I had traveled with a PT in Hawaii, and then a year later, she had worked on getting herself one of these jobs in Germany, and so she said, "Oh, I know they need an OT, and by the way, it's in Italy." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like the universe is like listening, about me wanting to travel." So it was a really rare opportunity. There's not a lot of those jobs left out there, because this was related to a lot of the action in the Middle East, and the war we fought for like 20 years, and then they realized about halfway through that that TBI was going to be the signature injury, like Agent Orange and all that kind of stuff was for Vietnam, that TBI is like the signature injury of this conflict that we've been having or that we had more or less for the last 20 years. So I couldn't give you any particulars other than if you are interested in working for the government and the military overseas, that USA Jobs would be the best place to start. For OT, most of the jobs are working with like, it's basically like school-based or early intervention type of thing overseas. That's where I see most of the jobs.
And then Bobby was wondering if any cruises offer this as part of their packages. I've done Viking cruise in Europe, and it would be a fantastic service. So I'm thinking, Bobby, are you meaning expand a little bit more on what you're wondering, or maybe
accessibility and stuff like that? Yeah, so if you're asking about like diversability travel, and there's actually, I'll get into a little bit more about the specifics about what I do and how I combine my my skills as a therapist and as a travel agent. And some of it's just getting to be more I'm actually creating a lot of it based on needs that I've seen over the years, or where I think we're going. Now that travel is back and set to explode, and people, whether they're older or they have a child with a special need, or they have, their mobility impaired, or whatever the case may be, then they want to travel too. And, travel is set to double in the next couple of years. So there is definitely, I think almost every cruise line has like, certain programs, like they can help get scooters and equipment, and they have accessible rooms and stuff like that. However, we have the opportunity actually as travel pros and agents and whatever to actually book our own, like you can at an all-inclusive or on a cruise line, you can actually just book a group of rooms. You get the commission off of that. Plus you can add an extra, $100 per, attendee for your fee to have to actually go with them. And a lot of times, you book 7 rooms, you get the 8th free. So you can go for free, plus you're making commission, plus you get, bonuses and perks from the cruise line. And then you can have, and there's employee wellness programs. I actually planned one that was like a wellness at sea kind of thing. Or, people can do, any type of wellness program or anything like that that's not even related to disability or a special needs population, just to get their credits. And you can book that, and then you can also be the speaker, so it's pretty crazy how that works. And that's where you can get into some really interesting money too.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
we made a list of a ton of different, or you guys made a list of a ton of different options. So these are only 3 different. Can you talk about your recent mission trip?
Yeah. So in December, I got the opportunity to go to Belize with a bunch of speech therapists and speech therapy students. And we were there for 7 days, and there's a new nonprofit that's forming out of Chicago. They actually had formed a couple years ago, and then they kind of had to put things on hold for a while, but they actually they have their own clinic down there. They work with the Ministry of Education. So we actually went in, and they had set it up, and then I found out about it last minute. And so I went in, and I went as the only OT, and I did triage on probably about 55 different kids in Belize over, it was 3.5 days. And then we had the other days, they had set excursions for us. So we went cave tubing and zip lining, and we went to like Key Kulker, which is just looks like Gilligan's Island, basically, with like palm trees and, sandy beaches everywhere. And then we also went to some Mayan ruins on our time off. And then we stayed at the zoo, which is kind of interesting. I felt like it was like the Belize Zoo and Tropical Education Center, and they were really great. So it was a different kind of trip. And where my heart lies is that I like to go places and do good like this, because I know Belize is a huge, travel destination, tourist destination, but there's also a lot of social problems that we can be, intricately involved with helping. And like I put in some posts that I've put up on Facebook, they have no therapy there. They have to get physical therapy in Mexico, and they have no OT. There's no programs for it. None of the surrounding countries have it too much. It's just not available. And then there's like one speech therapist. So this group is trying to go down there and solve the problem of, of at least providing, special needs in their special ed department. They've kind of had this really awesome lady she has a son with autism, and she's basically, I think you can find like Autism Belize or something. It's a page on Facebook, and you can kind of follow what she does. But she's just on fire to get services and get equity and inclusion for those kids. And it was probably my greatest week ever as a therapist, just because there was no productivity, there was no, documentation other than, we did evals and stuff, but there was, you did what you felt. I was just in real time, like kind of trying to give, educate parents a little bit. The benefit of Belize is they are the only country in Central America that speaks English. So you don't have the language barrier there. And there's not a lot of restriction on like practicing, although it's all volunteer work. So they're getting set up. I'm actually looking to set up on their board, be a part of their board, and give input as someone who is also in the travel industry, because what I would like to do is be able to take therapists and therapy students down there to have a nice bougie vacation, but also do good work and maybe not stay at the zoo the entire time. Like, I mean, if you're 20 and you're in college or whatever, in college, it's one thing, but after a while I was like, I want a real bed, you know, like the beach a little bit more. So so that's where I have, you know, we have our sights set on even different places in Europe, and Central America, definitely Mexico, and even parts of the US where there's a really intense need in underserved populations. So that's definitely, that's like at the forefront of what I do. I have a friend who has a ranch in Texas that is called Tear Hope Ranch, and it helps survivors of human trafficking, young women, to be restored. And it's amazing the programming that's needed within that to be able to help successfully restore and rehab these young ladies. And they do it all privately, so they depend a lot on the community and volunteers for help with that. So that's also forthcoming. So there's a lot of good stuff with that.
Awesome. Now, your actual business is accessible travel, adventure planning, and concierge. Can you describe that and what all you do with that?
So what I have done so far as travel planning goes is I have booked several, so for example, I recently booked an older couple onto a cruise ship to Alaska, and they have like, he's mobility impaired. She's a little bit younger than him. He's mobility impaired, and I really had to search to find a cruise line that that wasn't like just like a big carnival one. They didn't want to go with a bunch of kids and that kind of stuff, but they wanted to have a nice small ship where they could sit out on the deck and watch the world go by as they're cruising from one place to another. So I really felt like that was one where I really combined my skills, and also with the excursion, you know, I had to find one that had excursions that he could do that were mainly like they could sit in a vehicle or something like that, because, you know, in Alaska, you can get into some pretty rugged excursions off your cruise ship pretty quickly. So I was able to find a cruise ship that was a smaller one that had everything included. You know, he's got but boomers got money, so a lot of them do. So that's a great way to get into it. But I had to call, I've had to call the airlines. I've had to make sure that there is a wheelchair or like all that kind of stuff. And I really felt like I combined my skills with that a lot. And then also I did another trip. Well, and I have to say, this is how much money there is in this too, is that my services are free to them, to people that I travel plan for, unless I'm doing because I just do regular travel planning too. So if I'm doing some destination wedding, or I'm helping a group of people get to Oktoberfest in Germany next year, but I may charge a small fee just to make sure that they don't bail at the end, because it's all commission based. But just that's something that people don't realize, is that a travel planner, their services are free, and they get paid when you book and then go on the travel. That commission is already built in. So so I took the commission on that trip was $2,300. So think of how many hours you'd have to work at your therapy job to get a $2,300 commission. My first commission I ever booked was $800 for my friends to go to Mexico, and they had a great time. It was right after things kind of opened up and relaxed and stuff like that last year. So and then as far as senior travel companion, that's where the concierge piece comes in, because I think between that and intergenerational travel, I think people are doing that a lot more in the last couple of years. We've moved in with each other. There's more intergenerational, maybe, grandkids with grandparents. And, I do a lot of trips, like booking 10 people to go to all-inclusive that's family friendly in Mexico, because grandma and grandpa, the 3 kids, and the cousins want to come or whatever. So there's a lot to be said for that, and especially if there's a special needs. But seniors are wanting to travel, seniors, intergenerational, people want to travel in like small groups together. So I've started this concierge idea where I actually would take 10 or 12 people to a destination. I think probably I'll start with Italy. I'm making plans to take like maybe 12 people to Italy, and then I go as well. So there's an extra fee associated with that. And then I do all the travel plans if they have mobility needs, if they have, just all those little pieces. Even just getting through security is difficult for older people sometimes, and knowing the ins and outs. And there's a lot of moving parts, and being able to hear and being able to get through the airport, and then get on your tour, get to your tour. They don't know how to use maps. They can't see them, like map different apps and stuff like that. So that's going to be, that's something that I just had an idea with myself when I took my dad and my bonus mom to, we went to Oktoberfest last year, in 2022, and also saw the Passion Play. We traveled around, we went to Salzburg, we did Sound of Music tours, and they were like, they're my biggest fans now, because they're like, we don't even know with the COVID restrictions, like, what do we need? What do we not need? How do we fill out these forms? So there's a million different things that I think as therapists, we're already inbuilt into us, because, we've done evaluations, we've had to look at the individual, be very client-centered, and back off as we can, so I want to be there when I'm needed, but also kind of let them do their own thing and do this, what's called foreign independent travel. So, so that's some of the ways that I'm doing that. And then we also, do you want me to talk about the autism trips and stuff?
Yep, that'd be good.
So another, I have a physical therapist who I've also known since I was 6 years old, joined my team, and she has a son with autism, and her big thing was taking him on trips. She has 4 or 5 kids that are older, and then she had him with a second, a second relationship. And so he's about 5 years old, and he's on the spectrum, and she really had a passion for, getting families who have a special needs child with autism or other special needs to places like Disney. And then she actually told me there are autism cruises that other people have done. We're looking at different ways to do them better and not call them autism cruises, but like something, something cool sounding that won't be just like, only for autism. They think that's going to be some weird like therapy on a cruise ship or something. But she also brought to my attention, there's Sandals resorts that are very high end, Caribbean all-inclusives, and they're traditionally known for, like couples and like weddings and honeymoons and adults only, super luxurious, but they also have what's called beaches resorts. And the beaches resorts are family friendly. There's 2 in Jamaica and 1 in Turks and Caicos, and they're planning to open several more. So the all-inclusive is going to kind of be a building thing as well overall, but they're shifting from the go down and get drunk and pee in the pool or whatever to and stay at the resort the whole time, to being culturally relevant experiences. And that's what Beaches is already doing. And they have every resort has certified autism professionals that work there, autism trained specialists. There's a Sesame Seed character that's her name is Annie or something like that, that she's there. They have all the Sesame Street characters. And so they actually have camps, they have crafts, they have tons of activities. And it can be geared toward families that have a special needs child. And so we're looking at taking some group trips down there where we take therapists, we take families, and we do some stuff in addition to that, like on the beach, like outdoor ed style. So that's forthcoming. She's got some stuff in the works for Disney. She took her son to Disney kind of as a first travel, and we're doing like from Meltdowns to the Magical Kingdom, and stuff like that. And she had a successful trip with him. So we're really working on a lot of that together. And then, so there's just a million different ways that could go.
I just wanted to go back to what you were saying earlier with traveling with the older adults. So I recently took my parents to 74 and 75. I recently took them on vacation with us. And I mean, honestly, it's the only way they will go or travel. I mean, it's just in the different situations that come up in airports and getting in and out. And we actually got stuck on the elevator. The elevator stopped, and my dad is extremely claustrophobic. Um, and we were on the 6th floor, and obviously he wasn't going to do the elevator anymore that trip.
Right.
And so, I got it taken care of. So we got moved and everything down to a lower floor and so forth, but it's such a huge need. So
Yes.
before we
Well,
start answering your questions, oh, go ahead. What were you gonna say,
oh, I was
Karen?
just gonna say, the only thing that they feel comfortable with doing is cruising, and not everybody likes to cruise, and there's Europe, there's so much to consider as far as, my dad and my bonus mom are very, very active people that are cognitively there, probably like your parents, but they still they would have never gone, if it hadn't have been for me and my influence. And plus I made about $400 off of them, I booking their stuff. And then, getting agent rates and discounts, which we can talk more about too, because that's a real reason for yourself to even if you never plan to book travel for other people or go into this at all, what you can get for yourself is pretty amazing. So, but they don't know about things like travel insurance, and you get commission off of selling travel insurance to people. And even the parking spot at different airports. So you think about getting to the airport, where are you going to park? I can make commission off of helping people make reservations at the parking spot. And then they're far off site, but they have this awesome system to where you're never waiting too long, and they're more affordable, and they'll wash your car and all this kind of stuff. So the options are endless. I mean, almost everything travel related has commissions booked into it already, or built into it already. And so that's a way, even my students, I teach a couple classes for the Masters of OT program that we have here locally. And I just mentioned that I was an OT entrepreneur. This is our second class. And they were like, what do you do? And then well, how do you do that? How are you making money at that? How can we do that? And I'm like, okay, we're talking about population health, not Karen's accessible travel agency, but that's how much there's so much interest within our population for this kind of stuff. And there is a way to support yourself through the travel industry to still do what you love to do.
And when I was an OTA fieldwork coordinator, we actually collaborated with a college. Yep, it'll be recorded. We actually it is recorded. We collaborated with the college. I can think of it, in Oregon. And our students, OTA students, went with other OT students to Nicaragua, and they had an amazing 8-week to 12-week fieldwork experience there, and
Yes.
just all the things you can do. But okay, so I want to talk a little bit about our vision and then the process, which I think will answer a bunch of your guys' questions, and whatever questions we don't answer, we'll go back to. And Karen will talk more about this, but basically, our vision is to create a team of therapy professionals that are wanting to be travel professionals, where we all have the support for each other. Someone had a question above asking, what was it? Is where do you a way to connect therapists to travel agents, or where do you get information and so forth. So again, our goal is to create a group of therapists that are doing this to help support each other. Karen, you want to expand on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, I had no idea that something like this existed. I think many of us have done side hustles previously. And like I said, I've always looked into becoming a travel agent, having a travel, like doing that as a, maybe even just something that I would transition into in my super burned out phases, because I love to travel. And like I said before, it's healed so many things. And so when I was actually in a coaching group to help me build up a different side hustle more in health and wellness, and I happened to come across this woman who had posted something about her travel business. And I've always liked the team building aspect of and those types of things of some of the, we don't like to say the dirty words of MLM or anything like that. But the good part about this is that it's two different businesses. So you have two different businesses in one. And I'll just briefly explain those and how we have a vision of combining those two. But if you don't want to do one side or the other, you have the option to just do one, or you can do both. And when I saw the startup costs, when you're looking at $10,000 just to buy a franchise, and then you see $179 to buy into a home-based travel agency that runs through a host agency, you're like, whoa, is this too good to be true? And I've been saying that every single day of my life since I found it. This is too good to be true. So, we have there's the one side of the business, and I have a whole group where we can put you guys into to just learn more about the general, how this whole thing operates. So I'm not going to get real super stuck on that, because what's coming out as we emerge, and I've been meeting with Kara and Mike and all these different people over the last couple weeks, and in other aspects, students, therapists, even educators, special educators. Everybody's looking for something that they can retire into and that allows them to travel more. That's why we do side hustles. But I'm not, there were the other side hustles or side gigs that I've done before, or network marketing or whatever it was before. It was always like, build a huge team and then you can retire from your job and never have to do it again. And I'm like, that's not my goal here. And I've never really wanted to retire or get away from my job. I just wanted to do it in the way that I wanted to, that I chose to. I wanted more choice. I wanted more freedom. I didn't want to have to, ask for time off and get this 2 weeks off a year, or have to, go broke in between travel assignments to really go and absorb and live the life of a traveler. And so this, as I got more into this, and I just started my own little home-based travel agent business, and I joined on the other side too, which is helping other people, just like we're doing right now, building a team of other people who have said, this has been in me for some time now. I've always been looking for something like this. I want to keep expanding into this business, and keep building a team and combine my loves and my passions of travel, therapy, whatever that special population that you have a heart for and that you work in. So what else did you want me to go into, Kara? Sorry, I don't want to get it too off track, because I know we're bumping
So
up.
do you want to talk a little bit about if someone is interested in doing this, what are the very first steps, and maybe highlight the difference in the two sides?
Yes. So so when we first tell people about this, when they ask us about it, we the person who I saw posting in the Facebook group, her name is Sarah Molnar, and she is now my sponsor, my travel sponsor in the travel business. And she is like sort of pioneering a new way to do both sides of this business in a way that is getting a lot of attention, because she's created systems and training and easy duplication to where, like, for example, as you build a team, you don't have to necessarily go individually train each one of those team members on the travel business, because you might attract other people to this, maybe not just therapists. I mean, we're building a team. This is a specialization and a niche that we're building, and that most of you are getting on here for. But there's other people out there that want to join the business, that need travel services, that just would rather, there's corporate travel, there's all different kinds of things. So the two sides of the business, just in general, the one side is with what's called a host travel agency named IntelliTravel. And I can put you, Sarah and I co-created, a group on Facebook to where you can learn more. And so we can give you that link, and you can join that group, and we have a video that shares more about, it touches on both sides of the business, but just in general, that's the first thing I would do so that you get a general sense of what's involved. And so that first site is with IntelliTravel. It's $179 one-time startup fee. And then it's $39.99 a month to run, that's all your service fees to get to use your IATA number, which is the magical number that gets you behind the travel curtain into the secret world of discounted travel for yourself and commissions when you book for other people. It's life-changing. And then the second side of the business is an additional $20, and that's through something called, there's a startup fee of $20, and then it's $20 a month. And that side of the business is called Planet Marketing. And what Planet Marketing's role is to build, yes, there you go, is to market and sell IntelliTravel. IntelliTravel is a 30-year-old agency that is not network marketing and sales. So if you can choose to become a travel agent only, to just do your accessible travel, to plan trips, book for other people, make good side money. You never have to go to that other side. If you're not interested in the team building side necessarily. So we let people choose, we keep them separate. So it's not like if you want to just do travel agent and book travel for people, that you're going to be seeing a bunch of stuff about, marketing and building your business and inviting people, and all that kind of stuff. So they make sure that we are very compliant with that. And so, yes, so to get started with both, which I think is the best way to go, especially when you're talking about partnering with someone like Kara and I, who have, we're aiming for the stars here and creating a huge team so we can make the world more accessible, and we can get therapists connected with people who need our services, other people who, almost everybody, I think greater than 95% of the country in the US at least is planning to travel in the next 6 months. It's just why people do everything. It's why they work extra. It's why they get a second job. It's why they start a side hustle. It's why they save, so that they can travel with their families or by themselves. So I do want to say, because I saw there's someone on here from Australia, this is not yet available in Australia on this side of it, but we can work with you to plan trips, and to bring trips to you, or to potentially have people that maybe have diverse abilities from there to here. But it's mainly US, UK, and something that's kind of unique about this company. I know there's a lot of products and stuff that are available in like all the European and, all these countries. They are people like in Belize, the Caribbean, Mexico, the UK. We're opening in Canada and Ireland this year, as far as being able to start the travel business as a travel agent, and be able to sell that business if you're on the rep side, to grow a team. It's mainly Caribbean islands, and then a couple like Panama, Belize, and that kind of thing. So being able to offer a business to someone in a third world country or a poorer nation or a tourist destination, they can actually get in on some of that commission and money. And I was in Vegas last weekend for a travel event and a Planet Marketing event, and I met someone from Jamaica who has built her business in 3 years to now be making what would be considered $1 million a year in Jamaica. She went from basically being homeless to building her business big enough to where she's making the equivalent. $1 million here is what she's making in Jamaica, the equivalent. So it's really powerful. I think it's changed a lot of lives, even if people just book their own travel for cheaper. When they join my team, you're a part of something. And I think that's where, especially with OT, we get into that belonging and, but everybody does. I'm not saying it's only OT, but that connecting is so important. And we have such a powerful way with this to help people connect with each other and experience each other's cultures. So for both businesses, $200 and $60 a month. And if you want to know more details from that, we'll send you the link to the group. Should we post it in the chat? Do you have it to post in the chat? And then you can also, we can also get it to you. You do have to answer. There are questions. Don't forget to answer the questions, including who invited you, or where you saw the information and who invited you. So, and then you can actually, if you put your phone number in, we'll send you a $100 gift card. We have an incentive program that as travel agents, we can offer to people. So we often do, there as thank yous or promos to promote our business. And we often do, promos of like a 7-night resort stay where you just pay taxes and fees, or a 4-night cruise for 2 with you just pay taxes and fees. And I can tell you that we're going to be offering one very soon for anyone who joins on either side of the business. I think you have to join on the agent side, but if you join on both, you're also eligible to get this promotional. Sarah told me I had permission to say that we will be offering the 7-night resort stay for anyone who joins by the end of January and also has completes the training, because that's that's what you get for, and stays in the business for 31 days. Otherwise, it might be looked at as bribery to join our team, and that's not what we're doing. We're giving you a thank you for joining our team, and then we can also teach you, once you've joined our team, we teach you how we use those incentives to book more travel and to do different, thank our team by giving them different things. So I have a couple of them floating around myself. These 7-night stays, they're available all over the US and in Europe and in different places. So.
Awesome. So just to clarify, because I'm very visual and, researched this before I signed up, there's two parts of it. If you just want to get into like the senior companion, the accessible travel, all that kind of stuff, you can sign up to be a travel agent and then start building your business through that. And your first year business investment, is going to be $620 if you add this down here. So around under $1,000. If you want to, again, get into the side where you sponsor the team and have other people join under you, then that's an additional $20 a month. But both sides, you earn money through different methods.
Right.
And then once you join, it didn't really take me very long. There's training videos and IntelliTravel. Well, how do you say
IntelliTravel. Yep.
They have training videos you have to watch, and it didn't take me too long.
And
to
then
go
you just,
through that.
Yeah, it's completing one of our trainings as well. We hold trainings like almost every week. Sarah has one, and it's not, you don't have to complete the training by the 31st. You just have to sign up by the 31st to get the incentive and the special gifts and promo. So you have 30, you need to complete it in your first 30 days. And that's just to make sure that people don't join. I know that probably not a lot of therapists would do, but we've had people join, take the incentive and quit. And because they do have a profit guarantee, they have a 30-day money day on the travel agent side, it's 30-day money back guarantee. On the rep side, it's a 90-day money back guarantee. So if you get a month in or 2 months in and you decide it's not for you, you just give it back. And if you ever, I've had a couple people that decided it wasn't for them. There is a lot of training. There's a lot to learn. You think you know stuff about travel, but you don't. You have to register for travel vendors. There's a lot that goes into it, and people can get overwhelmed. I don't see my OT or my therapy people getting as overwhelmed as some other people, but I think that's just because we're used to taking trainings and education, especially probably your people, Kara. But you know, some people have decided it's just not for them, and so they canceled, but it was beyond that 30-day window. But if they ever decided to come back, then they just have to pay their $40 monthly to reactivate, and they're back in the game. So it's a great company. We have, you know, a low price guarantee for anybody that, like, if you're booking for somebody and they say, hey, I found this cruise deal on Travelzoo that's only $900 for an 18-day cruise, and if you can't find the same exact one for that price, and that is a real price and not some made up Travelzoo price, IntelliTravel will beat it by 10%. They will do 110% beyond the price to make it to where we are always guaranteed to be able to offer them the cheapest deal in travel if they find it somewhere else for cheaper.
And then, so I'm going back to Mindy's question. When you search for these special accommodations, is they're just hunt and peck, but that's why, you know, they already have a great system set up. And what we're working on is we're going to all work together and share all the different things that we find. So we have a grouping of all of this, and they already have that anyways.
Yes. So on the regular, just getting up to speed as a travel agent or travel sponsor, we have all of that set up. We have something called the Boards app that we can put training into. It's a free app for you. We do all of our communication and support on Voxer. So all that general stuff is taken care of. And then I really got to say, guys, we're laying, you know, the groundwork for, I don't think anybody else is doing this. As far as the therapy world and what we're looking at doing with different types of accessible therapy-based travel in the different ways that we've been discussing. So you're kind of getting in on the front edge of this, because travel is exploding. So many people want to travel, but they just don't have, you know, like you were talking about with your parents or my parents or whatever, or people who have special needs, because it's 100 million people in the US alone are living with some kind of disability, or, you know, some sort of illness or medical condition that limits their ability to travel. So talk about what we do, right? And we're you know, we're pioneering this path for sure. I think to level it up, there's certain aspects that are already there, but we're really leveling this up as far as the level that we're going to take it with combining therapy and the travel industry.
Jill asked if we can explain who is paying you the commission and how that works.
So the travel suppliers themselves pay you the commissions. So it's already built in to everything that is related to travel. So if you search on hotels.com or expedia.com and you see a price, you know, that price already has like a 10% commission built into it for the hotel. So that if a travel agent books it for them through a travel agent portal, that it's not more, you don't have to pay the travel agent more. That actually comes out, that's commission that's already built in. So they just, instead of them getting the whole thing, 10% of it comes to you as the travel agent. And you get paid through, and they pay IntelliTravel. So they have contracts, you have to sign up through suppliers. So that makes sure all the trainings are free too, because travel agents book a lot especially with cruises, but they book everything. A lot of people still use travel agents. And so, you know, and you can add your own commissions onto certain things. You know, there's especially like flights, because that's not a great place that's like the one area of travel that there's not much in it, because you can get personal discounts when you reach a certain amount in commissions, but there is a site that we have where we can book air travel for other people, and we can add in a fee. So that would be one instance. You know, so the commission's already built in, and then you sign up with the travel suppliers. So like Expedia, on the other side of it, they have an Expedia travel agent portal, where one thing that I like about that is that it's actually a little bit cheaper to go through an Expedia travel agent, to go through a travel agent through Expedia on their portal than it is on regular Expedia. They actually give you a little price break. But in most cases, like Hilton.com, there's travelagents.hilton.com, and instead of booking your the person booking their room on Hilton.com and they get all that money, they have 10% of it comes out to you when you book it as a travel agent, or 15 or 20 or whatever the case may be, 5 to 30% in general.
Awesome.
Yeah.
This one is a COTA and don't want to be reliant on OTR or or on being able to treat Medicare. She said this is making her consider going back to school for a master's in mental health counseling. If she wants to do mental health counseling as well as aquatic therapy, would you recommend this route versus the OTR program?
Yeah, I mean, if I had discovered this previous to going back to school, I'm not sure that I would have gone back to school. But I mean, there is no downside to being with a host agency, because even if it's just your own personal travel, it can support, you're going to be able to do more for less. I mean, significantly less sometimes. I'm looking at taking a trip to Bali with a couple of other travel agents Bali in August for $590 for a week.
Sign me up.
Yeah, I know, right? I think up to 30 of us can go for that rate, and I'm like, let's go, let's do it.
Awesome.
So there's just no, you can do it alongside whatever else you do. You don't have to do it as to have to tell people, market, whatever, I have people who are working in mental health, working with kids, working with whatever. It can totally support you. And you don't need to have your therapy license and your, any of that. You don't have to be supervised by anybody. I have OT students signing up. I had one join my team last week because I made a post in one of their groups, and it freaking blew up, because I think if they can see that, that employee model, or that, this kind of this old traditional model that we have, that most of us are still part of in some way, this is a way. My travel business is called Free to Be Me Travel, because that's how I feel about travel. Travel equals freedom for me. And you just don't need a lot of that other stuff when you don't have to be supervised by an OTR, and you can, it's your world, it's your world. So
What type of liability insurances are needed?
So the liability, that's part of your fees, your monthly fees. They have all the insurances. And so that's what, if you were to pay the $10,000 to get your own franchise of a travel agency, then like American Express Travel or something like that. There's one of those guys in town here that tried to convince me to come work for him instead of building my own team for, like a fraction of the price. But so that's that's one of those things that's included. Your licensing, your fees, the CRM is included, like your website. You have an online booking engine that people can use, and they have a back office. It includes all of that. So there's no worry about that. You do have to go through some compliance training depending on which side of the business you're in. And there's things that, obviously, like any other industry, there's best practices, and, like they don't want you going and, hey, join my travel team when you're at like a sandals resort on a travel agent rate. That's not cool. People aren't there to be, stuff like that. So all of that is included in your fees. And, I don't worry about that.
Is there any information on those that rely on Hoyer lifts or specialized bath equipment? How do we drag that along, or are there places where it's already at?
I think it would depend on what the trip was, who was going, whatever else. I do know When I worked for the VA, one of the pieces of equipment that we got them was a portable, like it would go into like a duffel bag, and it was a lift that would lift people in and out of bed, that in hotel rooms and stuff. So there is that kind of stuff out there for sure. And that's all stuff that we want to definitely get into.
Which is, I mean, that's all stuff, again, we hope to create where we can either maybe create a partnership somewhere where these places have that kind of stuff already there, or find places that are.
Yep, like whoever asked that question, like, come on, let's do it. Let's
Nope.
create it. That's how I am. I've been doing it my whole career. I see the need and I fill the hole, and that's, I mean, Kara, next level OT, like that's what you're all about. And so yeah, let's create it. Because that's probably
Um,
something that's really needed.
exactly. You might get to this. Let's see. Does anyone know, is there like a legal definition of caregiver versus companion? Thinking caregivers need special certification and such, but maybe companion doesn't. But if someone needs help with transfers while traveling, or example, could we still just be a companion or consultant? Finding info about legalities or what licenses are needed, or is it just good insurance and contracts is what has held me back from jumping into this?
So I don't get into all that. I have a release of liability waiver. I have JAP form, and I've created a couple of different things that basically says I am an OT, because I have a couple different roles that I do. I've worked in like home mods and stuff like that too, and I've worked in health consulting as well. So I'm like, in some cases I'll put, I am an OT and I am licensed and registered and certified as an OT, but what I am doing here is not that. So despite that, and I had it even drafted by a lawyer basically, so that they would sign that knowing it's a consent form. Basically, I'm going along as your companion to, of course, if someone has a highly specialized need, you may want to look into, the legalities of that, and make sure that your stuff is sound, because you do have a license and stuff like that. And if they fall or something happens, then, but as long as you have that paper in place and they understand, they have a good understanding that you're going as their companion, their caregiver, that kind of thing, going alongside them as their personal travel agent, basically, and concierge, then there shouldn't be any problem. I don't operate within my OT license, or really even call it that, when I'm talking to people and booking travel for people with special needs.
And, some of these things, if we want to expand on some areas, it's things that we can put together and as we grow. Let's see,
Yes,
the special,
it's a valid question.
yeah,
I have done a lot over the years to, and I'm sure you have too, to protect your, everything that you've worked so hard for, but while also doing some more private things in other industries as well.
Becky asked if the special deal, in order to get signed up, we'll talk a little bit more about it, but yep, you just have to sign up by the end of January. You don't have to have the training done
Right.
by the end of January.
Yeah.
What is the name of the company starting rehab services in Belize?
Oh, it's called Therapy Adventures. And I think you can just go on to therapyadventures.org. They're still getting things organized, and I'm not sure, they're still getting things organized. So I don't want to send like a bunch of people to them and say, oh, Karen was doing a thing. So I'm trying to figure out a way to work with them where we can bring all of this to their table without overwhelming them. And they also have a heavy ABA, like they don't have an OT there, but they have an ABA technician there. And those are kind of conflicting worlds a little bit. So I'm treading lightly with them for now, just because like, I think what we can do can be in partnership. I mean, I paid almost $3,000 to go on that trip. So that's another factor that I want to make it more accessible for people like us who want to go down. I can't pay $2,500, $3,000 a hit and take a week off. So I would love to combine someone's family vacation to Belize with a day or two of volunteering, and then you could partner up with a PT and an OT could come in for a couple days, and then someone comes in behind them for a couple days, and then you go off and have your vacation for the remaining 5 days. That's what I would like to do for myself and others, and have more control over that.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. Where do we go to sign up and to find out more? So Sandra, check out those 2 groups, but also I posted my email for those of you guys that are really interested, and Karen and I will get you whatever you need with that. This is a great question, Samantha. Does the incentive have strings attached, such as sitting through seminars or walking through properties that takes an hour or so?
No.
I just had to, yeah, my husband absolutely hates, what is
No.
it called when you go to resorts there and you sit through, timeshare thing?
Yeah. There's no presentation required. So they have a bunch of different ones, and we have there's the hotel gift cards are really nice too, because it's like $100 towards thousands of properties all over the world, and you can use it as towards a hotel stay. There are some stipulations, but we like the 7-night stay because it's the easiest. Like, you can book it online, you can see what's available. We've been looking up their properties in Spain and like the Canary Islands and stuff like that, Malaga, and it's been like, I want to go there. But it's, and you still end up paying somewhere between $200 and $400 because of taxes and fees. It's illegal for us to pay those for other people. So there is still a cost. It's an incentive program specifically for travel professionals, and they basically make deals with I pay monthly so that we can tap into that service, but they have partnerships with different organizations in the travel industry to promote their business as well. So there really is no gimmick. It's not always, it's not a gimmick. So there are some, like, you have to book a month ahead of time, and it's based on availability for some of it, but we've chosen the 4-night cruise and stuff out of the whole list of things that are available, and the 7-night resort stay, because those are the most flexible and seem to be the best deals.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And those who want more info, we'll get it to you. Deborah asks, is there any limit for our own travel? As far as, no, you can travel as much as you want and use whatever deals you can.
Some people only do that. Some people only get into this business to get Disney for cheaper, because they get like 50% off of tickets. And then if you actually go through Disney's College of Knowledge and you get certified, and then you help your friends book, and help people. I mean, there's someone on Sarah's team right now that's only working in Disney groups and connecting with other moms and bringing Disney, Disney lover moms and their families on as travel agents in her team, so that they can get cheaper Disney. And she's building a huge team that way, just like we're going in with therapists. So people do it. I mean, I started out, was like, well, I travel all the time, so I want to do it for less. I mean, I could have saved thousands on my travels in Italy and Hawaii and all the places that I've been.
Also, there's great deals on cruises too. I don't know if Deanna's on here, but she loves cruises. So
yeah, I think there's, once you complete the training, there's for Princess and Cunard, and I think even MSC, they have a deeply discounted, if not free, cruise that you can go on after you complete their training, because they want you to go. There's these FAM trips that are familiarization trips. They want you to go to their locations and have a good experience or go on their cruises or whatever, so that you will book people into there. So it's amazing. But even like Holiday Inn Express, I'm on, like IHG, I'm an IHG agent, and I can get agent rates that are like, I stayed at Candlewood Suites for $55 by the Houston airport a couple months ago. And it was, and since I travel with my dad, we always get 2 rooms. So I can book 2 rooms at that rate. So it's like, we're paying almost half of what we used to stay in places that have like kitchens and stuff too. So we save money that way too. There's like a million different ways. I offset my monthly fees every single month just with my own travel, even if it's just an agent rate before I fly out somewhere, or even if I just go to the mountains for the weekend or something, so.
And it's not just travel, there's like tickets and stuff too, right? So
Yeah, there's golden tickets and there's Viator like excursions. So like if you ever use Viator or different, if you ever booked a tour or an excursion in a different place, that's all part of it. They actually pay like 14% commission. So I went on a Sound of Music tour, and I went on a like a Mozart tour in Salzburg, and I got 14% back off of 3 people's, so I made like 50, 75 bucks back off of those 2 alone, just for the 3 of us to go. So if you can't find an agent rate or a discount because you're an agent, you can always just book your own travel for commission. And so you'll never pay full price for travel again.
that was one, I mean, obviously there's others, but that was my big reason, because we love to travel.
Yep.
Do you have a list of travel partners?
Yep.
And yeah, there's a big list.
Unlimited. Well, so IntelliTravel has they have preferred providers that they even sign you up with some of them, because you have to become registered on the travel agent side. Everybody has a travel agent portal and a travel agent side. And so you can, they have like about 50 or 60 preferred partners. And then, but if you like I helped one of my agents who's an OT, she's from Poland and she goes to Croatia every year, and she wanted to start booking trips for other people to Croatia, because she's what we called an unpaid travel agent. I was an unpaid travel agent for most of my life until I found this. And so we found like this Visit Croatia, place that is that she could just register as a travel agent with. This wasn't on any list, but you're an independent agent. It's your own business. You're a 1099, contractor. It's your own business. Like, you're not working for anybody on this, but you have a whole team that's helping train and support you, but it's your own thing. So it's truly the best of both worlds.
I snuck down to post something, so then I lost my spot. I'm getting back up there. How long does it take for you typically to receive commissions?
Oh, well, there's that's why I recommend getting on both ends of the business, because the shtick with commissions is the people have to go on the trip. So the people that I booked this Alaskan cruise for, and I just booked someone to a Sandals resort too, which was over $1,000 in commission just for them to go on a week-long trip to for their anniversary. But they're going in July. These people are both going in July, and then it takes 2 or 3 months after that for the supplier to pay IntelliTravel, and then IntelliTravel takes their cut, and then they pay you. So it can take, so if you have someone that's traveling next February, you won't get that till then. So I always say, use your travel commissions when you're getting going, especially as your fund money for your own travel. And then I say to join the other side of the business, because like, for instance, for every, person that you sign up underneath you. So like, if Kara's signed up 3 people, she gets $50 a person. And then I actually get a little bit of that too. I don't want to go into the whole details, because there's 7 different ways you can get paid through these 2 companies if you're on both sides. But the point is that, so like if if I sign up a new agent, now I get like $60 per person that signs up, and I'll get that if they sign up by Sunday, I get paid the following Thursday. So I on average sign up 2 to 3 people a week. So I'm getting an extra 150, 200-ish a week just from helping someone start their business. So that's more immediate money, and it's more residual as well. So that's you get, like for instance, you also get paid $4 for everyone who's on your team, no matter where they are in your organization. So like if you build a team of 100 agents, you're going to be getting $400 a month regardless, so that happens a lot sooner and that kind of thing. So beyond saving on your own travel, that's a way to do it, to get some income now.
You guys, this is off the subject, but my daughter called me in and then just texted me. So she just had her first experience of getting peed on as a personal or CNA personal care assistant. So
Oh, I remember my first
on her
time.
foot. So anyways, okay. Sorry, sidetrack.
Yeah.
Does the IntelliTravel help with website development so we don't reinvent the wheel?
Yeah, so I actually, they have an IntelliTravel site. So like mine's KarenDwyer.IntelliTravel.com. I don't really use that because it's mostly a booking engine for people to go on and book travel themselves. And I feel like as the agent, I'm going to book them something way better than they're going to book for themselves. And to be transparent, IntelliTravel is not where I book. I actually book a lot of my travel. I use them to get paid. And I book some cruises on there and certain things, but there's way better search engines and travel agent portals and stuff with other companies that do only supporting of travel agents, or they have deals and discounts. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I don't even have a website for my travel business because honestly, I do almost everything on social media. So I have a business page. I have Free to Be Me Travel. I have Karen Dwyer, Free to Be Me Travel, to attract business partners. And then I have Free to Be Me Travel, which has the travel deals on it. And I do mostly social media for meeting new people and getting new things. And then I'm actually developing my website because there has been so much interest in this, plus in combo with some other things that I do. That's just going to be KarenDwyer.com. And then I have a travel section of that, which is becoming an increasingly larger thing. But your website is part of your monthly fees. So you do get a website, and I like to have it on my business card. Like if people sign up and they have to put their information in, and then you can send them little emails and you can actually send them actual mail too. So it's pretty cool. Little flyers and stuff.
So Becky, I posted that link before that I used so I could put things aside, and then we have videos and other things we can get you. Cheryl said there's a portable toilet seat with laterals that fits in a bag. Megan said, me, I'm ready. I tried to start 2 years ago and didn't know how. I love this information. So yes, just reach out to us. Our 20 local senior centers offer senior travel, so the competition may be steep here. I don't know. I think people like the personal touch. And I think as therapists, we have a lot. I mean, obviously I'm biased, but I think we have such a lot better personalized attention and skill set, and we can just make it that much more unique. I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
I got distracted on reading another comment. What was it that they were saying?
They have 20. Our 20 local senior centers offer senior travel, so the competition may be steep here.
Yeah, in general, there are, like, even my dad gets stuff from, the VA for, their travel department or whatever. There is there's comparatively to like health and wellness or products or whatever I saw before, there's nobody else that is doing exactly what we do in the ways that we do it. And some people don't want to go with that. Not everybody's attracted to a senior center. So there's, I really, it's as big as I can make it, but that's half of it. And really like your draw to being a therapist, being someone who is specialized in working with seniors or whatever the case may be. I don't find that I have very much competition because I go outside, I do a lot online, and I tell people, because all you have to do is tell people that you work and travel, and the word will get out, and everybody loves to travel. Like if I see someone come, post a picture of a beach somewhere that they're on, I'll be like, oh my gosh, where are you? I want to, we use attraction marketing. I'll be like, I'm a travel agent, but why didn't you book that trip with me? I don't ever sell, period. I let people know, I connect with people, they go into my profile. I have a little video that explains how to become a travel agent, pinned to the top. They ask me questions. They want to know, one way or the other, either how to join my business and become a travel agent themselves, or how they can use my services. I go a lot on referrals. The guy I got for the cruise, and that's going to probably book yearly trips with me, he went on a referral from my friend that I helped book a trip for. So there's really, you got to get in and network a little bit and build it up, especially on the booking travel sides of things. It's just like any other business, especially where you have a clientele. It takes time to build it up. So, but I try not to look at them as competition, because there's so many areas you can niche in, and you also just letting friends and family know and giving them a little incentive if they refer people on. And I send them a thank you gift, with a little $100 gift card to a hotel, toward their next hotel stay or whatever. So
The other thing is look at it as a way to build your business. You collaborate with those senior centers to offer a vacation.
yeah, because
You know,
chances are they're not a travel, they might be working with a travel agent, but there might be opportunity there. You're right, to go into different, even to different meetups and stuff. My mom goes to these, old lady meetups all the time for, and it's like they do art in the park and stuff like that. I mean, there's just a ton of ways to network with a variety of populations. And that's why I don't niche too much. Like if someone like I just helped my friend book his business travel to Idaho, and it was, I'm going to make maybe $40 commission off of that. But, hey, he also then contacted me about wanting to go to Disney with his son for spring break. So that's, it adds up. And then just telling people that you're in travel, it really does help.
do you anything for, I'm guessing Royal Caribbean? Someone is asking if there's anything for Royal Caribbean.
Yeah, all the cruise lines.
Jatel has 6 booked for this year. Why the heck aren't you taking me?
Royal Caribbean, actually, they have I think they had a webinar or something about accessibility on their ships. I think it was either Royal Caribbean or Norwegian that was doing, they've made a bunch of improvements on their ships. It's very competitive in the cruise industry right now because cruising all but died over the last, even this last year where things were more open and easier, they still had a lot of restrictions on them. So people just went to all inclusives instead. So the cruise lines are doing some really competitive and interesting things to regain business and get back to where they were. And, travel right now is an $8 trillion a year industry. And so just getting your hands on a little piece of that is not that difficult, but it's set to double, in the next 5 to 10 years. So it's a no-brainer for me.
And what if we could create a momentum and partner with some of these cruise lines or resorts to really create a true inclusive, accessible place?
I mean, we have, like, for example, we have the certified autism travel professional certification that we can take through that company. And my friend is looking at doing nothing but autism travel for families just to go individually themselves, to help groups go, like whatever the case may be. I mean, you can niche in just about anything. And, the average person that's where I am right now on both sides of the business makes about 50,000 a year. And that's what my goal is by the end of the year, is to make 50,000 a year in travel.
Awesome. Mindy said, it sounds like there are extra fees to join for extra incentives, though.
Oh, no, there's the startup fees are what they are. And then the fees, the taxes and fees related to the incentive trips themselves are related to the trip cost. And there's like a small, like it's maybe 25 or $30 to activate the incentive.
And this, like what I put down for prices here is, what I have spent.
Oh yeah. So there are certain things like the CLIA card is the cruise. What does it stand for? It's a cruising card. I have mine right here because it expired and I need to get it renewed. But it's how you can get a lot of your own personal discounts. It's $69 a year. There's a couple other things like that. There's a couple of systems that I pay for, but you don't have to. And we've made with our boards app training, we've really made it to where you can start with no extra costs other than your monthly fees. And then, getting the CLIA cards optional. And then if you use that travel incentive, you just pay the taxes and fees on that. $200 to $400 for a 4-day cruise is pretty good.
Jill mentioned there have been dialysis cruises for ages, which is awesome. You might want to add that as special needs travel.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
That's a great one to add to our list. Karen said that I missed the description of training. Well, when you first sign up, you go through the Intella travel training, but then Karen and Sarah and they have put together additional trainings and so forth that are available. And then different resorts or agencies or cruises have special trainings too you can attend, right?
Yes. So actually we're looking at, we were just planning this today. We're going to meet up in LA next month. There's a in-person travel event. You can do additional trainings too that are low cost, or the event itself might be free, but it'll be in Houston one month, and then it'll be in California the next month, and then it'll be East Coast somewhere, Florida, whatever. And as you get additional certifications, then you can put your specialized in XYZ, whatever you went to that event for. And there's tons of opportunities, and most of them are low cost or free because they want you to come learn and get specialized in what they do, because it's a competitive industry.
Kirsty asked a good question. Is this considered an MLM company? Is there a yearly booking amount you must meet?
There are no booking minimums, and the IntelliTravel travel agent side of it is not MLM or network marketing. When you become an ITA, what we call an ITA only, so you pay that $180 and then you're $40 a month, you are a travel agent, and that is all you can do. You do not have capacity to add people to your team. You must add that on, and we keep the two sides of the businesses separate, so that people who want to opt into the rep side of the business and sponsor other people to grow their business, you have to pay that extra money and be added into, like, you actually start two businesses. It's two separate businesses. So you have the travel agent business, and then you have the business that sells the travel agent opportunity. So yes and no. So if you don't want it, if that's not something you want to be involved in, I've been involved in different ones for 15 years, and I love the residual and the team building. I love it. Like, I love it. I can't imagine not doing it. So I just do it with travel now instead of products.
Can you state what the two different options and the costs are again? So this that I'm sharing is the two different parts, the travel agent business and then the sponsor growing the team, the first year
And
business.
if you get into the group too, so that we don't, there's a video pinned to the top, so that Learn Why You Should Be a Travel Agent group. You shared the link, correct?
Yep.
So when you get into that group, then you can go watch the video. We have different things we can tag you in if there's something you want to know specifics about, but it does walk you through everything you need to know, and gives you a little bit more information about that general travel agent business. And then what we can do from there is that Kara and I and a few other therapists that have already joined as travel professionals as well, are creating another place that we can flow you guys into that will be more how to niche as a therapist travel professional and doing the accessible and independent travel.
How much is the Disney College of Knowledge? Are there different trainings that you have to pay for?
No, you don't pay for it. You don't pay for anything that you do through a vendor of travel, because why would they
you to come then?
Yeah, well, they want you to book Disney. They want you. So the College of Knowledge is free. Almost everything is free. The autism professional is done by an organization, so there is a fee for that. But I think that's the first thing I've actually paid for as a travel agent, for travel like training or certification. Or you may have to pay a small fee to get a certification, but just to learn how to book or do certain things. Like Marriott has a fairly extensive hotels of excellence program that you have to go through. And it's actually really hard. It took me a while to get through it, but then once you do, you can get amazing discounts and you can book people on their website and stuff like that. So.
Do places treat you differently when you arrive as an agent?
Well, I don't want to claim baller status or anything. Like, never in a bad way. I actually, like in Vegas at the hotel I was staying at, which is like the Hilton's at Resorts World. It's like a newer one. There's like the big Conrad and it's out on the north side of town heading toward the Stratosphere. I stayed there and I didn't book it as an agent. I booked myself for commission on Allegiant Vacations. And because I like to mystery shop every once in a while. And there was a couple of issues, and I finally whipped out a business card and I said, hey, I'd like to speak to the manager about this at some point. So sometimes they will fall into line if they're misbehaving. But I feel when I travel personally, that I'm getting those discounts and those agent rates in part to share my experience and report back to them what went well and what didn't go well. So like, for example, when I was traveling to Munich from Houston, it's a 10-hour flight. I had put in for vegetarian meals for all of us, and they gave them to other people. And so we had to just eat around the chicken, like none of us eat meat. So that they heard about that from both me and my dad. And between the two of us, we got $150 in travel credit from United because they made that mistake. And I've just been able to, if I'm nice about it, but I'm like, here's my experience and I don't want other people to have this experience, and I don't think you want this to be the experience, then I give them the feedback and they're very grateful. Like Avis, I've gotten a 2-day free rental from them because they gave me an old smelly car in Dallas one time, and it was terrible. It was a terrible experience, and the people weren't very friendly. And so I just waited until later, and then I reported to their customer service. A lot of times I just send them a message in Facebook Messenger. That's where I get the fastest results.
What is the name of the autism certificate and whom do we obtain through?
So it's called once you're in on as a travel agent, then we can get you hooked up with that. It's certified autism travel professionals. It's CATP through like the IBCCES or something like that. I have all the information, but I believe you have to be an actual, you have to have your business started before you can take advantage of it.
I think we got through all the questions.
All right.
we can definitely have, or we'll be having more trainings and so forth as we get up and going. Um, oh, I should go back to this. Make sure. Okay, you already talked about the special promotion. So you just have to be signed up by the end of the month.
Yeah.
And again, reach out to us and we'll get you hooked up with that.
And you guys, if you really want to try the cruise one, I'll kind of just for this group and people watching this, if there's something like if it's a 7-night resort stay, which is what we're going to do again, but if you want to try a cruise or $500 in hotel stays, like whatever works for you, because I know not everyone can, take a 7-night stay. So I can, because I have this and I admin on this group and I have this incentive program myself, I would be more than happy to,
Well, that's awesome. You guys get to choose one of the 3 big best promotions there. So Amy wanted to know about the special promo. So again, anyone who signs up, and what we're meaning by signing up is that, the spreadsheet that I shared. Anyone who signs up before the end of the month gets.
That would be the
gets one of
travel
those.
agent. You don't have to sign up for both. If you just sign up on the travel agent side, but if you sign up for both, you'll still get the incentive, obviously, but it has to be the travel agent side because people can sign up for the rep only side if they don't have the money, which I'm assuming that most therapists have the money, but we have had a couple people that join as reps only because it's only $20 to start. So I've had a couple of students do that too until they can afford, you recruit 4 people and help them start their travel business, and then you have enough money to start your own. So, but yeah, you have to be on the agent side to get the incentive.
Awesome. I think we answered all the questions, and yeah, we're really excited about, whoever is interested in this and kind of, again, creating a group of us and working together and growing this. We think it's a great possibility for so many people. And again, OTAs, PTAs, speech therapists, and obviously beyond the therapy world, but we really want to focus on therapists. So
Yeah. Yeah. Someone over this weekend called it the equalizer of a business because you can be, am I stuck? There we go. Because you can be, it doesn't matter. Like if you're an OT student, if you're an OT, OTA, whatever the case may be, everybody, it's your own business and you don't have to answer to anybody else.
I was just mad that I didn't know about it before I planned the trip at the end of December.
That is the biggest thing. Can I use this retroactively? It's like,
So, okay. Well, thank you guys. Again, email me, reach out to us, join those groups. We'll send everything out in an email, summing up everything we talked about. And, if you want to jump on a call or chat with us, we can do that as well. So thank you, Karen. I know Karen's been super busy with traveling and gone and so forth. And I'm like, we need to do this sooner than later. So thank you for doing this already, because I know you've been super busy. So
anytime. And do you have a way? I don't know on a webinar, are you saving this chat?
Yeah, I can save it.
All right, cool.
I know we gotta save that list. We gotta save that list of all of that stuff. So I know I might not get back to you guys tonight, but tomorrow I'll get back to everyone because my husband's waiting for me to watch our nightly TV show that we've started lately. So
what are you watching?
Person of Interest.
Oh,
have you guys seen that one?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're kind of hooked,
Awesome.
which is not good because then once I start watching, then I want to watch one more and another one and so forth. So yeah. So we'll get everything out to you guys. Thank you so much.
You can go ahead and join the Facebook group now and be looking through some of that as well, just right now.
For sure.
And we'll go in and tag you guys and stuff if you have certain things that you're interested in and get going from there.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.